Hello, friends. Today I will tell you an adventure from the adventures of the three dwarfs entitled The Beginning is in the Forest of Shadows. On a bright spring morning, the three dwarfs, Brave, Narmum, and Furfa, decided to leave their small village in the heart of the forest. There was an old secret about which the villagers tell stories, and it is said that in the depths of the Forest of Shadows there are strange creatures and forgotten tales. Those stories always arouse their curiosity, so much so that on this day they decided to find out the truth for themselves. The beginning. The three of them stood on the outskirts of a dense forest where huge trees seemed to touch the sky. She said, "We sleep enthusiastically. This is the forest that adults talked about in their stories. She looks more mysterious than I expected." Brave answered with a serious look, "If there are strange creatures, maybe we can learn something new from them. We will return only after we find out everything." Fur, who was not very excited about the adventure, but was always ready, added, "I hope we can find something tasty to eat too. The forest is full of surprises." The first challenge, facing the shadows. The three entered the forest, and they were trying to stay together as much as possible. The trees were blocking the light, and the shadows seemed to move strangely, which made the road seem longer than usual. Then, after a short distance, they felt something strange. The air was getting colder, as if they had become completely somewhere else. She said, "Have you noticed? The shadows around us are moving as if following us. There is something abnormal here." Suddenly, a huge misty creature appeared in front of them, which looked like a living shadow, smiled a frightening smile at them, and then spoke in a low voice. "Who dares to enter the Forest of Shadows? Are you ready for what awaits you here?" The first test, the challenge of shadows. Brave answered confidently, "We are three brave dwarfs. We did not come here to be afraid, but to discover what this forest hides." The creature said, "Well then, you have to pass a challenge before you continue your adventure. In this forest, it is the shadows that control everything. If you can light the darkness, you will have the right of way." Furfa raised an eyebrow and said, "Is that all? I think I can light a little flame." Brave added, "The shadows here are not like the shadows we know. We must be wiser in dealing with it." And it was a surprise. The shadows began to move. Unreal images exploded around them, like ghosts and chains. And the more they tried to get away from them, the stronger the shadows became. But Nanamum had noticed something strange, since only shadows appear when you look at them. Therefore, she decided to turn her back on the shadows and stay in the light that seeps through the trees. She said, "Don't look at her. Shadows do not approach the light. We have to stay in the light and avoid shadows." The second test, the search for light. The three of them began to move cautiously, and over time, they began to notice that there were small specks of light in scattered places inside the forest. These spots were getting bigger as they got closer, as if they were proof that they were on the right track. Furfor said, "Let's hold on to these specks of light. They are better than the shadows that attack us." But as they walked, the shadows began to move more quickly to cover their path. Shadow beings were climbing trees and surrounding them. Brave said, "We can't go on like this. We must look for the original source of light." The third test, the strength of comrades. As they begin to scatter and shadows surround them on all sides, the three remember that if they cooperate together, they may be able to overcome any obstacle. They decided to use their different abilities to work together. Brave said, "We will not stand still. We must work together. We dream. You have the ability to feel hidden objects in the shadows. Immediately, you can move quickly and guide us, and I'll be the guard here." The three of them began to move between places where they noticed the light, becoming more focused on collaborating together. Over time, the shadows began to recede, and the small lights became brighter. And when they got to the middle of the forest, they discovered that there was a huge old tree in the middle, and bright lights were emitting from it. Conclusion. She said, "This is the tree of light. The shadows were just a test. It is this tree that controls the light in this forest." Furfor said, "We succeeded. The shadows retreated because we chose to work together." Brave said, smiling, "Yes, this is the first lesson. Strength is in unity. When we are together, nothing can stand in our way." And at that moment, the trees in the forest began to shake, and life returned to the place. The forest seemed brighter. The darkness had faded. Significance. This adverb